Welcome back, everybody. First thing I did with my picture is I traced it with a black marker. If you have one, it just helps things show up better. I would go ahead and do that. If you don't have one, that's fine. What I started with here is colored pencils, and I've got crayons too. I kind of like to use them both. So I started with some yellow just up in the sky there behind my cliffs or mountains or rocks that I've got there. And I'm trying to make this move from one color to another. So I've got yellow, I added some orange, now I'm going to use some red, and I'm trying to make it just be gradual so it slowly gets darker, it slowly changes color from the corner, and I'm going to move across my paper that way. So I went from purple to blue, and notice that I colored the blue a little bit on top of the purple, and that helps blend it together. So I'm starting with a purple. I chose purple because I thought it would show up good against the yellow part of the sky there. You can choose whatever color you like. I like to color it all in solid first, kind of lightly, and then I take my second color, or I can take the first one and just make it a little bit darker. But I'm going to color along the bottom, so that would be the part that's furthest away from the light that's in the sky there. Sometimes I'll use a different color to make it darker, like in this case I'm using a dark blue. Now on the planet, you can make it whatever color you want. I color with one color and notice that I'm not even following the lines. I'm just making some spaces that are blue and then I'm leaving some white spaces for my second color. So I'm mixing some blue and some red here. I know that's going to work. Those two colors will work because I know that red and blue make purple. So I can kind of use them on top of each other to make some purplish color or some purplish areas. And the parts that are down at the bottom of the planet there are going to be the darkest and at the left side. So see how I'm coloring it darker on the left side because it's furthest away from that yellow light that we've got over there in the corner. Again, coloring with one color, kind of making it as smooth as I can. And I'm doing it lightly so I can make it darker later. So now I'm adding a shadow. I've got, can't tell if it's magenta or red right there. And I'm coloring and making a shadow on the ground too. So underneath those craters, or I'm not sure what we would call them, rocks, I guess. Adding a second color to the land makes it look like it's not all just perfectly the same or even. So this part is the crevice. So imagine it being a hole, and it was going to be a lot darker down in there. But I started with my color. I just used some blue and then tried to make it as even as I could. Then I'm going to go ahead and make it darker so it actually looks like there's a hole there. So taking a darker purple, and I'm coloring in some of that crevice. I'm just pressing a lot harder in some spaces. Okay. Wanted to make it a little bit darker than it was, so I grabbed a black to go on top. I want to get the bottom edge of that more than the top even, because it's down where it's a lot further away from the light. So I'm going to go to my Among Us guy down here, and I'm doing the face mask. There's a white spot in it, and that's part that's closest to where the light is. And then I went to gray, and then a darker gray. The suit here, I colored it nice and even and really, really lightly first. And then notice the part furthest from the light is going to get a little bit darker. I did the same thing on its little pack too. I just added a little bit of gray there. So I'm adding this guy with another color. Oh, almost forgot that guy in the background there. So just trying to make them look a little bit more three-dimensional by using some of that shading.